Hey guys, it's SJ. If you're brand new, my name is SJ. I am a mum of 3 and today is another video in my sort of gentle parenting series. So it's been a little while since I made a gentle parenting video. So basically I just love gentle parenting. It is authoritative but not authoritarian style of parenting that seems to be having a bit of its day, which is really exciting. So I've been practicing this since my first baby was born, who's now 11, and I just really bucked against the kind of strict routines and the kind of disciplinary and like time out, naughty steps just never sat well with me. So I've followed a different way, which is positive discipline, gentle parenting, and it just helps you to get out of that punishment reward cycle all the time. And the idea is that it helps you to, what is the word? Connect, not correct. There's a little phrase there for everything. And this video is about 7 alternatives to punishing even your wildest toddler. So as I said, I've got 3 kids, that means I've had 3 toddlers. And you can see I say alternatives to punishment, not alternatives to discipline, because discipline is still important. We talk about it as like loving limits. I've done a whole video on that, loads of videos on gentle parenting. So if you're interested in this topic and learning a bit more, particularly to have a kind of calmer, more cooperative, more almost more loving or just more level family home for the summer holidays, and if you're kind of parenting in front of others like in a hotel or staying with family and friends, I think that's where, number one, it is so mortifying to see children get really disciplined and told off in front of their family members. And I don't know if that's just from me from childhood, I always just find it really, really difficult to hear somebody being really told off in a public place, and to discipline in front of others as well. It's really, really tough. Bad enough in the garden during lockdown. So it just gives you some other tips in your arsenal. And if you practice these 7 things, I promise you, you'll have a really much calmer and happier, and you won't have to feel like you're constantly the disciplinarian and not having the fun, which sucks for us parents as well. So yes, these are my top 7. If you're brand new to my channel, I'd love it if you hit subscribe, check out the rest of my gentle parenting videos. I'm not an expert, I just absolutely love it, and I love to research all this stuff and then share it with you guys because it's just an open forum. So yeah, chat away in the comment section below as well. So tip number 1 is for sort of young children, and it is to ask questions and figure out where the behaviour is coming from. So it's really, really simple technique. So your toddler might be doing something like ripping something to pieces or destroying something or just whacking something on a wall, kind of destructive toddler behaviour, and we instantly go, no, naughty, bad, or worst case scenario, if we're kind of feeling irritated anyway, or it's something precious, we might put them into a punishment, where actually they might normally just be exploring or trying to do something, getting frustrated themselves. So imagine you're trying to do something, you're kind of getting frustrated because, I don't know, trying to cook a meal and it all starts burning and going wrong, because it's a little bit hard level for you, trying to follow a tutorial or something, you're getting frustrated. That feeling isn't anger so much as sort of self-frustration, and it can be sort of self-esteem, starting to getting frustrated with yourself. And then imagine somebody coming in and going, right, you can't do that, ripping it off you and sending you away. It's gonna make you spiral. And if that is the person that you love very much, that was like your partner or your mum, you know, it's really, really difficult. We've got to sort of, even though toddlers can't express those deeper feelings, we're all human, no matter what size we are, we're all having these emotional reactions, and it's harder for them. So when you see a toddler trying to do something, maybe throwing a ball inside or whatever it might be, it's better to stop anything that's going to hurt them or damage goods, and then just say, you know, what is it we're trying to do? Are you trying to, and they might sort of just show you or explain, and then enable them to do that in a different way. Like, okay, so you want to see if that water, if you can carry this heavy water through the house to put it in the sink. My daughter loves to do that, makes a huge mess in the kitchen. That's fine, why don't we set up a water tray outside? You just think, pause, listen and help, because actually their behaviour is a feeling, and if we address the feeling, the next time they'll have the resilience to try it a different way, and you've actually taught them something, which during a big feeling, often the thing is as well, is that's not the time you can take in a moral lesson about punishment. It's a good time to be communicatively receptive to somebody showing you a better way of doing it, so you can do it better next time yourself. Second thing is to practice time in versus time out. I absolutely love this. I will kind of just leave it there, because basically time out, as we just said, is kind of just sending somebody away at a time of need, at a time when they're having a really big feeling, and it's saying, you know, I as an adult cannot deal with your big feelings, they're not welcome to me, they're too much, and then sending you away. and you're sort of left to fester. And I feel like as my children are getting older, like I said, my eldest is 11 now, those big feelings just get bigger and they just mask bigger problems potentially as he gets into his teen years. He's not quite there. And I want to be the type of parent that my children always can come to me with their feelings no matter how big, and their problems no matter how big. And that starts right now, I've realised, from sort of age 8 onwards. There's a brilliant book I'm reading at the moment called Between, which is by Sarah Ockwell-Smith, who's kind of one of the most leading thought leaders in this whole area. And she does this book, which I'll link below, which I'm reading, and I will do a review of it because I'm loving it. But yeah, think right now, time in. So you are the calm. So if everything's going crazy and chaotic, find your calm. Just go really, really calm. Pretend someone's watching you. That's the best way of doing it. You know, like when you're in the playground, I'm super calm. Practice that the whole time. Go really calm, and then you're their calm. You're their anchor in this storm. Let them come down to your level rather than you go up to their level. So it might be, let's just go and lie in mummy's bed and really, like, you know, they might be kicking, screaming. Just hold them, be on their level, and in that moment, just be there for time in, not time out. Third one is to give them a second chance. Let's say, let's do a do-over, let's try that again. You know, it might be that you've had a terrible meal time, everyone's kicked off, it's been awful, there's been, you know, refusing to eat, don't know what, or it could be you've had a day out and it's just been absolutely horrendous. You know, some holidays, you're gonna see all the good bits on Instagram. Just remember, there's gonna be horrific bits as well. No one's gonna put that online, not because they're trying to hide it, just because you're not getting your camera out to go, oh, let me film this tantrum. But tough times happen, and a good way of kind of helping you all go to bed feeling happy is to have a do-over. So don't just say, right, that's it, we're never playing that game again, or that's it, dinner time's over, or not putting the movie back on because you were running and screaming around the room the second I left, which is what happens to my kids. They always say, want a movie night, but the second then I go, okay, I'll just pop and do the washing up, and then it's just carnage and it drives me crazy. But rather than just saying, that's it, off to bed, everyone goes to bed in a bad mood and a half, it's like, okay, give people a second chance and allow them to make up for it the new way around. So just be like, this is what I expect, let's do this together, and then let them do it again, whether that's coming back to the dinner table to finish their meal this time or eat as much as they want to this time. That's a really good practice to get into, and it allows you to complete, and it's better than a punishment, because the punishment doesn't. Sometimes the punishment drags on. It's like, for 3 days now we will no longer do this, and by 3 days time they're still being remembered of how low and crap they felt about themselves at that moment when they behaved badly. We're still talking about it 3 days later, whereas if you give them an immediate do-over, it gives them a chance, it gives you a chance that they've learned something, you've moved on, the rest of your holidays, your week is not affected, the rest of your evening. Fourth one is a huge one, and it is to change your language. And this is the biggest thing, and I think it's really important, and it's the first thing I learned about when I was doing gentle parenting, is about communication blocking. So we often just talk for our children. We say, you're okay, when they might be like, I'm clearly right in front of you crying, I've fallen over and hurt myself. It doesn't hurt that much. You know, like, there's not such a big deal, it's not something big to cry about, or even I'll give you something to cry about. We all grew up hearing those types of phrases to us, so we just fall into them, and often the children's behaviour is quite triggering for us. It brings up our childhood, like, I get irritated, I was never allowed to do that. I wouldn't have, if I'd have spoken to my parents like that, or if I'd have behaved like that, this would have happened to me. And all that baggage comes up to the forefront, it comes out of our mouths, particularly if we had really strict parents. Rather than you're okay now, and trying to complete and finish and move them on when they've had something happen to them, or they're tantruming or they're upset, is I'll stay with you until you are okay. Imagine how much more that would speed you up feeling okay. And I think just be who you would need at that point to a child, and forget what happened. It's how they're feeling, and that doesn't get negated whether they're crying about something that you deem as silly or something that's really serious. The reaction should be the same because their feeling is the same. Number 5 is a really funny one, and I've kind of made this up, but I wanted to share it. I'm a little embarrassed about it. So basically, I've got 3 kids, and there's a lot of sort of play that turns from play into an argument. And I don't know if you've got more than one child, or you know, you're around lots of other kids, you could just see this escalating thing, and then it's like, he was enjoying it, he was finding it funny, it was just a game, and then there's just this huge eruption, and then one gets punished for not stopping, and then the one who's sort of really over the top and getting upset sometimes either gets sympathy or you're both as bad as each other. Oh yes, I like to say that. So I've made up a little thing for the summer holidays, which is a safe word. So basically when one of the children is really wanting, stop should mean stop, and it's really important to teach children that with consent and everything like that. Often it doesn't, because stop, we go stop, and it's just kind of like, or I'm saying stop that now, and I don't really mean it, and it kind of gets overlooked. So we now have a safe word, and I said to the children, whenever you really are starting to feel yourself get angry, or somebody's, is actually really irritating you by singing too loud, or being in your business, or being in your room, we use our safe word, and then it immediately stops. And same for mummy, when I say it, it means that I'm really, really serious this time, and we immediately stop, and we really respect the word. So that's what we've done. It's quite funny. The kids found it a real laugh. They've picked a really silly word, which is Norman. It's the name. But they've used it, and they've used it really effectively, and it's definitely stopped about 50% of the escalation of a row, or sort of a tantrum or a bicker, or me being able to in public just kind of go, Norman, and that means I'm serious now, please stop, because I can see it's about to escalate. It works. It's a weird one. I know that, it's important that we respect when people say stop, but it's just one of those words that sometimes loses its power. Number 6 is to empathise with them. So rather than punish them, think, what are they really feeling? So if they're really sulking or misbehaving on a day out, or you've been invited to lunch somewhere and they're just kicking off and sort of doing everything to grab your attention back, and you're the only mum who kind of can't sit down because your child is just tearing around, not sharing, whatever it is. We've all been in those situations, and it's easy to then go, when we get home, and then it's just this, how would you behave if somebody said that to you? It'd be like, well, I may as well not stop now, because when I get home, I'm gonna get punished anyway. So you sort of get into that panic mode as well, and it's fear. It's a threat. It's not such a nice feeling. So really try and empathise, and know that nobody around you cares as much. They'll be watching you and probably taking notes. So I will try to empathise, and particularly when we're in big groups, sometimes my children can get quite moody and sulky, and it starts to damage my enjoyment of the time, or they'll get kind of a bit hyper and not stop. So at that point, it's kind of just saying what really is happening and empathizing. So saying, but I remember going to parties with my parents when I was a kid, and I would just find it really overwhelming, so many adults talking, and I just wanted to be alone for a minute. Why don't we go and sit quietly? Find somewhere quiet to sit down for 10 minutes together and watch something on mummy's phone, or read a book if you're in your own house, whatever. And it really is powerful. And I think noticed as soon as I say when I was a kid, their eyes almost sparkle and light up. They love to hear that story, and they feel so understood and so seen. It's very social media, I feel seen. The last one is to really, really question yourself. Are they being naughty, or are you in a different mood? Because our tolerance changes, and sometimes my kids can be running around, screaming, shouting. I'm having a great time with them, and in the next hour something's happened that's changed my mood, or I've got suddenly a deadline's creeping up that I realise I've not met, or something or another, and suddenly I'm like, no, just be quiet, that's naughty. And you just have to sort of think, is this them, or is this me and my mood? Am I pushing my mood onto those around me? So I'll get quite cross sometimes at night if I'm woken up, and yet I have these dreams of being the type of mum who wants to say to my children, at 3 in the morning, if something's on your mind, come to me, earth mother. But then if they do come to me, I'm like, for God's sake, I've just fallen asleep, because I find it really hard to get back to sleep, and my temper flares, and that's just how it is at night. I am not the best person to wake up. Don't poke the bears, but I tell my children. But then I tell them that, and in the morning I'll say, I'm really sorry. When I'm tired, I have got zero patience, and I might sound really cross. I might look really upset, and I am, because I'm more tired, and that makes me more grumpy. But it doesn't mean that I think it's wrong for you to be scared at night. It just means that my reaction might come across as a bit stronger and harsher. So making sure that I explain, it's okay to be scared at night, it's okay to come and ask for me, but I'm sorry if my reaction was not how it should have been, and then trying to change my reaction as well, or just laughing with them about recognizing that is going to be my reaction sometimes, because sometimes I just can't help it. I'm half asleep, but my kids kind of know not to get scared although they haven't really upset me, and I'm not going to be cross in the morning, and I think that's important for them to know as well. So I hope that was interesting. There's probably 1 or 2 nuggets, I hope, within all of that, and those are my sort of 7 alternatives to punishment for this summer. Let me know if you try them. Let me know if you watch any more gentle parenting videos. They are linked below. I'm also doing a little bit more gentle parenting stuff on Instagram as well. You can find me over there. We're off to Sweden for summer, which will be amazing. So yes, come and have some Scandi time with us over there. And don't forget to hit subscribe if you're brand new and you like this sort of style of video and you're interested in gentle parenting like me. I would love to have you here, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.